I think we're on. Yep, we're on. Okay, so we just got out of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker episode. There's so many like subtitles. I don't know. Rise of Skywalker. There it is. Okay, and going in, I gave it a 5. You gave it a 6 as a prediction score. We just got out 2.5 hours later. It is a long movie, but not too long. It didn't slog too much. I feel like Endgame was longer, probably because it was longer. It was like 3 hours long, right? Yeah. But I fit more. So coming out, what do you give it now?
I'm still debating. What did you give it?
Okay. Um, well, the scores on Rotten Tomatoes made me go into this thinking that it was going to be kind of like a crappy movie because it was like 50 something, 80 something from critics and then audiences. Do you remember exactly what it was?
57 and 86, but it could be
57 and
different now.
86. Right. So the and I watched a couple of videos and the critics kind of just crapped on it. I don't know why. I think part of it was like, well, it was contrived. We brought back some old characters we didn't need to, blah blah blah. And it was like just fan service, fan service, fan service. I enjoyed it. We're gonna be doing spoiler talk right here, so if you haven't seen the movie, get out of here, come back later, what have you. Always like telling people to leave the
Leave.
channel. Get out of
You
here.
don't belong here.
Yeah. Or if you want to be spoiled by the movie because you're not gonna see it anyway, I do have friends who are just like, I'm not seeing it. If you want to talk about it, they've clocked out forever ago. We're gonna be talking about spoilers, and it's Sunday, so chances are you've probably seen it by now anyway if you planned on seeing it, most likely. So we get straight into it. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm probably gonna give it like an. You know what? I think the audience is right. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 or an 8 or an 8.5. I don't know yet. I'm still kind of mulling over it over. I did not hate it at all. I don't know why I got so much shit. Um, fuck you, nerds. It's not bad. Why are you shitting on this movie? I don't know. Let's talk about spoilers. We have the entire cast of the original trilogy in this movie, which I kind of liked. It wasn't one that like, well, Luke's in like one scene in the end, and then,
He's seeing it in 2 days.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, my bad. This is a. I thought we put like the spoiler chat in there, so I do apologize. Because we were gonna talk about spoilers a little bit. Unknown Flick Z. Thanks for stopping by. I just, you know what it is? I just figured at this point it's Sunday. I figured I was the guy who was late to the party. I've been avoiding the internet like crazy because I didn't want to get spoiled by it. Well, funny story. I was on a different channel and somebody was doing like a live chat just like this, and they were just like, I talked to the guy before. I was like, "Hey, listen, man." He was ranking the trilogies, and I was just like, "Hey, listen, man. I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker yet. Just please don't do any spoilers." And I didn't know anybody was in the chat room yet, and somebody came in and was like, "This person dies," and I'm like, and then I was like, "You're a little asshole," and like he's just like he doubled down and said, "This person dies too," and I'm like, "I'm out." And I jumped out of there.
Oof.
Boom. But yeah, we are gonna unknown Flick Z. I do apologize. Are you gonna see the movie? Are you cool with spoilers? I know you're gonna see it in 2 days. Okay, cool. Because yeah, we were gonna talk about that because I just figured I was a little late and nobody had seen it at this point. But we're gonna get straight into spoilers. I feel bad for this unknown Flick Z guy. But we'll talk a little bit about what we like. What did you like about the movie the most? For me, she's postulating. She's thinking a little bit. She's still like putting thoughts, and so am I. Like sometimes I do these, we do these videos. We come straight out of the theater, and sometimes like a day later, I go, maybe I was too generous or too harsh on a movie, and like I'm still kind of putting it together. Sometimes it's hard to do a quick review. And I know a lot of critics have that problem too, where like they can't. A lot of them can't go back on their word. They have to like basically just stand by what they said because I guess for like pride and whatnot. But I'll be the first to admit, like there are times where like a couple of days go by and I'm like, you know what, the movie is not what I thought it was 2 days ago, and I walked right out of it. Because the more you think about a movie, sometimes you kind of see things a little differently, and maybe that'll be me. But walking out of the movie, I feel like I'm with the audience a little bit. I stand by that 85%. I think it was good. And with your blessing, unknown something Z. I came up really fast. I couldn't read it. We're going to talk about spoilers. What I love about this movie, one of the great things that I feel bad saying it because he's watching it. Um, we knew that Princess Leia was going to be in there, and yeah, it's a little wonky. It's a little. It kind of feels like a cutscene in a video game. But I can't harpoon the movie for doing this because she passed away. So there's really nothing they could do. It was just like, she would have like a one word response to something that Ray would say,
Yeah.
and then she would pause. Like Ray would be like, I have to go, and I don't know if I can do this or whatever, and Princess Leia would just be like, no. And then she's like, I know that's how you feel, blah, 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 blah. And it just felt a little wonky, but it was good seeing them use all the characters in the movie because this one not only does it have Lando Calrissian and Princess Leia and Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, but it has Han Solo. And that sold it for me in a big bad way. I know I'm one of those people, much like everybody else. I hate Kylo Ren. Not in a I hate Darth Vader for being evil. I hate Kylo Ren for being an emo little biznatch. I don't know what to call him. He's just so angsty. He looks like he's like the cover art of like a long forgotten. Yeah, he's a pretty weird character. Like I feel like he's like he before this he was leading the Black Parade for My Chemical Romance. I don't know where he came from. He's way too angsty. I just want to slap him across the head. He's like an angsty high school kid, and it was annoying. What was kind of nice in this movie is that I read the reviews going into this going, all right, they're gonna double down. And I read somewhere that said that there was no redemption for Kylo Ren. So I'm like, all right, they're just gonna make him the main bad guy. I don't know what I thought, but I figured they're not gonna do any redemption and stuff like that. They brought back Han Solo. Not as a space ghost, but I guess he was just like in his memory. I don't know. I don't care. It was fun and I loved it. We got that. Yeah, you know what it is? I'm enjoying the nostalgia. I don't think it's bad to like a movie for having lots of nostalgia in it if it's done right. I've seen a lot of movies that try to just do a cash grab and it's not done well, and you just feel like, well, you just took my money. This feels like it was done right. And in a lot of ways, like I'm totally done with this movie being done. And I feel like a problem you get with these Marvel movies is that they're always seeding things for the next movie, and it's like, Waka Waka, we're going to be putting this, like, go read your comic book, you nerds, because this little thing we're dropping in front of you is going to be a thing that you need to know for the next 5 Marvel movies. And I'm also a little bit more partial towards, like, Return of the Jedi, because it does close up the movie. Yeah, it has Ewoks and singing and dancing and those stupid Muppets, but like I love that third chapter. You got Darth Vader, Luke, the Emperor, and you close it up. I don't really always want to end my movies on a cliffhanger or, we'll be back in a year to see the next movie.
He said that he hates when they use nostalgia to substitute for plot.
Okay, I can understand that. This movie, I was reading a lot of critics say the same thing where they said that it feels like okay, we have to go find another goober, get that goober, use that goober to get to the next goober. That's what they talk about in Into the Spider-Verse. He's like, give me the goober, kid. Yeah, there is that. They have to get like the dagger, and they have to go and get to like, what was that little green pyramid-looking thing to find where the Emperor was. Let's talk about the Emperor. I did not expect him to come down on like what looks like, he looks like when you go to like the fair and they have the ponies on like the carousel, and there's like a long rod that's holding the horse in play and it makes it go up and down, and he's got that holding him up. He's not, I don't know. And then he's got like these like injections in his back, and like there's like, I guess if you pulled him out, he would just like flop on the fucking floor.
Yeah.
That was weak sauce. I mean, you had the chair, sit in the fucking chair.
Right.
I don't know. And that was fine. Again, I forgive it because I understand that it went from J.J. Abrams to Rian Johnson, and then they basically said, hey, listen, we kind of, I thought he exploded, though that just confused. Yeah, okay, so at the end, they don't explain it, I don't think. Yeah, as you guys all know, probably, Darth Vader picked him up, threw him down a empty corridor, he exploded, whatever. I was watching Mr. Sunday Movies. You guys should check it out down below. There's a Caravan of Garbage video that talks about the comic books of, this is not the first time that Palpatine has come back. They basically talk about how he's always kind of been around, and he injects himself into like a new body and stuff like that. And you kind of just have to go with it. I get the feeling that they didn't have Snoke because of Rian Johnson, and J.J. Abrams is like, well, you kind of messed up my movie, so like we're gonna bring back Palpatine because one, people recognize it. We need to kind of. This is where I give them credit. They had to have something bigger than Kylo Ren as an evil force, and they couldn't introduce a new character like that in like the final stretch in the ninth inning. It'd be way too much of a hard pill to swallow, which I think is something that people are already complaining about, how like they're shoehorning too much new stuff in here at the last minute. So I'm okay with it. Like whatever brings the main characters to like the end of their arc, and I think it does. You get to the end of the arc with Rey and with Kylo Ren or Ben Solo, which is what he really becomes in this movie. And that's fine. I mean, one of the complaints we were talking about when we were walking out is that Finn, you can go through this whole... You don't need him. You can go through the whole franchise. And you don't need him. No, the whole... What does he do? He leaves being a story... I mean, thanks for not being one of the bad guys, I guess. But, like, he leaves as a stormtrooper. Even in Force Awakens, like, he kind of muddles about... And then, like in the middle of it, he's like, I'm not with the Resistance. He's like, I'm going to leave. Rey, come with me. She's like, no. And then I'm trying to think, like, what the hell is he even doing? Return of the Jedi. He goes to, like, that Vegas planet, and he rides, like, a unicorn with Rose. Yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
Oh, they need to pick some new keywords for these movies, okay? Because it's the last return of the King of the Jedi. Like, we need to just... like I said, I'm glad we're done with the Skywalkers, and I think they did a good job of wrapping it up. But yeah, much like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's like they make that joke on Big Bang. You could pull Finn out of this franchise, and it doesn't make a difference. It all kind of plays out the same. I mean, I guess he does do stuff in this movie, like where he's like him and the other girl who's just like him. I didn't like that either.
Finn should have sacrificed himself. Right?
Right?
Why did that not happen?
Oh, because Rose messed it up.
Yeah, but she's still alive.
Because she did that thing, she's like, we need to protect what we love. Or some bullshit like that. I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was dumb.
I think that's another reason why I don't like Last Jedi, is because that was supposed to happen, and they were just like, left turn. But
Rose is like, what is Rose like, unknown Flixie? Message retracted. Oh no! I can't imagine it was good. But Rose is like, no, maybe that's a little too mean. Rose is fine. She's like, again, just like another useless character that I have no opinion about one way or another. There's a really nice moment with Han Solo talking to Ben Kenobi. I'm sorry.
I want to
Ben
call
Solo
Kenobi too in the worst possible way.
Because Obi-Wan Kenobi is
it's Ben Kenobi. So you hear Ben and your brain wants to go Kenobi,
right,
and then you're like, no.
Because we all know how close Han Solo and Obi-Wan Kenobi were. Obviously. So, but I liked it. I mean, I don't know how they could have dug their way out of the hole that they were in.
Right.
I'm glad that we're done with these stories and these character arcs. She got a little choked up. She thought Chewie was dead.
I was like, the movie's getting a 2.
And I'm like, the actor did pass away this past year or so, and I'm like, that would make sense. It would make sense that they would kill off Leia and Chewie. I'm really glad that they did. Well, let's call it spoiler talk. It's fine. He's fine with it. He said it's okay. I'm glad that they did it in a way that was respectable and not dumb. I think a large part of it is that when I was reading the reviews, I was getting a vibe of like the Matrix Revolutions, which was the 3rd chapter in the Matrix movies. And that movie is awful. And I was like, we're going to do that shit. And they didn't do that shit. So I'm fine with what they did do. You haven't seen the first Matrix, have you? Okay, no, so I'm not even gonna, that's gonna take too much time to explain. But for those of you who know the Matrix movies, I thought they were gonna do that. I was like, oh no, we're gonna, like, they didn't play up like any, like, I thought they were gonna make like a Jesus character out of like, well, I guess they do a little bit with Rey. Rey has the power to heal. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel?
How do you feel? Well, that kind of is shoehorned in. Whoa. There's 2 things that are shoehorned in, people. One is Rey has the power to, much like Jesus, like, like curing the blind man, can hold on to a little dumb, can like touch somebody and bring someone, like, I guess, like heal them. I don't know, back to life, but heal them. And the other thing that they kind of introduce, which, you know what? Everyone complains about how there's no originality in these movies. They're taking from the other one, and they do a lot. A lot of this is built on nostalgia of the original trio that you like, the characters. But they introduced this new idea of where the characters are fighting, but I guess since it's Palpatine's granddaughter, it kind of makes sense for the...
Oh, for that whole little, like... Oh, well, he doesn't see
the healing power. Yeah, maybe. I mean, they kind of brush over that too.
And that little lightning thing that she does out of her fingers.
Oh, like
the
lightning hands.
Because
yeah.
he does that.
That reminds me of Thor. Like, what does Jeff Goldblum say to Thor? He's like, all right, sprinkle hands or something like that. Or something like that. But no, and the second thing that they introduce is that, much like how, if you remember Last Jedi, when Rey and Kylo Ren are talking to each other, they add this little element of, well, now they can interact. There's a scene where they're doing that love connection thing they do, so they can see each other, but they can't see where they are, which is interesting. But in this one, they can reach over and pull stuff and have lightsaber battles. So, for example, Rey is wearing a necklace in one scene, and Kylo Ren reaches over and pulls the necklace from where she is into his side. And that's something that was never seen before in the franchise. And I'm fine with it, because I feel like that's something new that they put into this movie that wasn't from the previous movies. And like, people complain about so much about how, well, you know, it's the same old shit, man. But they'll also say, not my Star Wars. So pick a fucking lane, right? There, I said it.
There it is.
I already clicked on the button that said this channel video is not for children. This is not for, although it is fine if you're below 18, but, you know, I don't know how I feel about that whole thing in December about the children block of what's the name of it? Like Okona or something? I don't even know. I don't follow it. I don't care. I don't care. We're going to run this channel as long as we can. See, there it is. Copa is useless. Exactly. Thank you. But yeah, we're going to say what we want. I've said worse. We're not going to... Not really. I really haven't said that much. But as far as this movie, I'm going to stand by and give it a solid 8.5. Don't even ask me to rank them, because I don't know how I can rank these against the other movies. Yeah. We made a point of like watching all of these movies beforehand. The only one she hasn't seen yet is Rogue One. But I think like a few months ago, maybe a year ago, we watched the original trilogy. And then we kind of kept up with like seeing Solo, Last Jedi. We watched Force Awakens. Rogue One is good, but that's the only one we haven't seen yet.
That's the only one
and then recently, yeah, thank you. And then recently, I introduced her to the prequels, which, ooh, they're.
He told me not to watch them. Because I did the last 10 minutes of the third one, and was like, "This is all you need to know."
I think that's fair enough.
And then he was like, "We got Disney Plus. We're gonna do it."
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
I didn't want to sour her on by showing her the prequels. And you know what? You guys will be happy to know that they don't pull from the prequels at all, I don't think, with this movie. Yeah, they talk like robots. That's a good point. Yeah, and there's really no... I feel like this movie cuts back a lot on the emo-ness of it all. Like the emotional, angsty teenager that I feel like all these movies kind of have. The prequels have it in a big bad way.
They do.
You have, you don't have it you don't have it in the first movie, but you have Jar Jar. So it's like, okay, he's gonna crap up this movie. And then the second and third prequels, you have Anakin being like just crying the whole movie, and then Kylo Ren is crying the whole movie in the first two movies. Yeah. Like, I don't think Luke is that bad. The worst that Luke does in the original trilogy is like, you know, but I was gonna go into town and get power converters, and like whatever. He's fine. He's a little dorky, but he's fine. You got Han Solo. What else do you want? What else can I talk about? It's a beautiful looking movie. It's one of those times where I'm like, maybe we should have saw this on IMAX. This is pretty, like, it's all right. Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest critique I can make about this movie is that the Palpatine stuff doesn't really add up if you think about it too much or too hard. But you know what, nerds? We're in a galaxy a long time ago, far, far away. Let's not get hung up on bullshit. It's fine. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We're in a Star Wars movie. That alone is like, here, take my money and go. I mean, yeah, you can mess it up pretty bad. Like, if you do Phantom Menace again, fine. But these are well-made movies. They're beautiful to look at. The characters are serviceable. I don't say I connect too much to any of them too much. But I understand that this is a kid's movie for the most part, and that's going to try to go to a broad audience. So I don't expect my characters to be like R-rated or too gritty or real or it's supposed to be a kids movie. It's a space opera in space. I think people forget that. I think the nerds sometimes get too bent out of shape. You're not going to make everybody happy. It's fine. It's better than fine. I dare to say it's almost great. Yeah. I liked it a lot. I mean, maybe I'm going to watch it again and go, I don't know. Maybe it was like, this doesn't make sense. But you know what? I feel like we live in an age where it's like cool to be a contrarian, right? If something makes $1 million or has a bunch of followers, well, it's cool to crap on it, man. Like, I remember when Stranger Things, like season 2 or 3 came out, it's like, oh man, I don't like it. Season 1 was better and it's just stupid. It's like, people just like to hate on crap if it's too mainstream. Contrarians are the big bad thing these days. And I'm like, you know what? Think for yourself, you non-thinker selfers. Yeah, I said it. Calling you out. But I really enjoyed it. Do you have any thoughts? I know I've been trying to like give you some time. What do you feel about the movie?
I bounced back and forth between a 7 and an 8 because I did like it. I can see some points where it was like, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was definitely better than I expected it was going to be. You know,
Right.
you get worried that, you know, it's Star Wars, so they could really just do whatever they want just to, because they know they're going to make money. They know
Right.
it's the last Star Wars movie. They're going to make money. Who's not going to go see this if you invested your time in the other movies? So it definitely could have just been a complete cash grab. But I thought they worked the original characters in a very nice way. But yeah, and I don't know. I liked Kylo Ren more in this movie. I like Rey. She has her moments where it's like, woman up. And then Finn, it's like, can you please stop chasing her? Like, you're not a dog.
I want to do a drink.
Stop chasing her.
I want to do a drinking game where we watch all movies, and I do a shot of tequila every time that Finn yells, Ray!
Oh my gosh.
I'll be drunk. Well, it'll take a long time. It'll be like 10
die
hours
of
of
alcohol
movies.
poisoning.
It'll be a lot of day drinking, I'll tell you that much. Yeah. I don't know. Like, what can we talk about this movie that, what do people talk about in this movie?
What are people, like, in the movie? Or?
I mean, okay, so you got some new characters. I like the little furball guy, that was working on C-3PO. There's that scene in the trailers where they're like,
okay.
I'm saying one last look to my friends. And there's like a little dude on his back and he's like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, it's like, you know.
Yeah. C3, I liked that they kept the droid like, I guess C3PO is the only one you can really understand. But they didn't change him at all. Like, they didn't try to update him or make him less of what he is. Like, he was just the same C3PO that you're like, can you please just shut up for like 3 minutes? And they make the joke when they're like, the one time we need you to talk. Are you serious?
Yeah. And was like Dio is like the little cone-shaped droid that we got.
Like that, yeah.
He felt like a cash grab, like we were trying to just like sell him.
The toys are already out.
And
I was like, I don't know.
I wish I got more R2D2.
Yeah.
He was with Leia. There was a point in the middle of the movie. I'm like, what happened to R2? And I'm like, and they show him with Leia, and okay. It has some emotional beats. Like, I got a little choked up when, again, spoilers, but eventually Leia passes away, and there's a scene where they cut to Chewie. And he just like falls on the ground and like he has finally had it.
And hug him.
He has had it because at this point Han Solo died and he was kind of like, oh. And then Luke died. He's like, oh. And this is like the moment where he was like, I can't take this shit no more. all my friends are dead. And it was just, yeah, Chewie lost his whole, exactly, he lost his whole family. You know, and like, well, he's got Lando. It's like, fuck Lando. We don't even trust Lando. Like, he's kind of, right? He's like that uncle that comes over once every 5 years.
Yeah. I liked Poe in this movie.
You like Poe in this movie? Well, yeah, because he's not Finn. I'm glad they didn't.
A bigger measuring stick than that. He's not Finn.
I'm glad they didn't shoehorn any type of bullshit romance with like Rey and Finn, because that's what I was kind of feeling.
They do not have chemistry.
Rey and
like at all.
No.
You mean Rey and Poe?
Yeah, thank you.
I was
Yes.
too. I did not want that either.
Because there was a scene early on where like they're bickering with one another, and I looked at you and I went, "Oh, honeymoon's over."
Towards the beginning, yeah, he said that, and they're kind of like going back and forth, and you're just like, "What happened between these two characters?" But nothing, which is good.
Unknown Flick Z says apparently Finn and Poe were supposed to have a romance or something. Yeah, there's a couple of those memes where like
they do argue a little bit, like,
yeah,
what are you gonna tell her? None of business. What do you need to do this now?
Right.
For? They're kind of bickery, but
like an old couple.
Poe has other intentions as well with other characters in the movie.
Or at least the actors wanted it. Yeah. Well, okay, this is why, because Force Awakens came out, and they took a scene where like Poe and Finn reunite, and they show Oscar Isaac, and he does one of these bite lips looking at Finn. He's like that. And they're like, oh, maybe there's a thing here. Yeah. And everybody jumped on that and basically said, you know, they should ship this. It's almost like Daryl in The Walking Dead, where people are suggesting this idea, and I feel like they're making everyone happy. Well, they're making no one happy by not picking a side. They're like, well, you know what? We'll just keep it super ambiguous so that everybody can interpret it the way that they want. And that's kind of what they do here. Although I guess Poe does end up with...
It would feel a little forced, because they don't really have a chemistry either. There's nothing really tying them together.
There was a lesbian kiss.
There was a kiss.
They're like, well, here's your consolation prize. Whoever wanted the Poe and Finn. Yeah, there's a scene, I guess it's like in the end.
It's in the end when they go back.
And everybody wins, all the heroes win, and they're getting out of their ships, and like two ladies like who are like pilots are like, hey, yeah, and then you have Kylo Ren and Rey, which doesn't feel like a romance at all.
No, it doesn't.
It just feels like they're so interconnected as like their backgrounds, who they are, what their goals are. There's such an overlap of who they are that it felt like they just felt that connection. Like she healed him, he healed, like all that. And there's that scene in the end where like she is healed by him. And I'm like, well, this can go sideways really quick. I'm glad they kept it brief. And there's that moment they're looking at each other, and I looked over at her. It was just like, I was waiting for him to be like, want to make out? Because it kind of felt like that. It felt like these like weird high school kids or something that were just like, you know, do it or don't do it. This is like the CW. Like, what's happening? Right? They have that connection where they like space talk to one another.
It was like, say something snarky. Don't kiss.
I know. She was so mad that they kissed. I was like, you know, well, who did you want Rey to be with? Or like nobody. She's her own woman, and that's fine.
It doesn't have to be a romance in every movie.
But no, but you're not.
I'm not pulling for. One of my friends told me Rey and Kylo.
Yeah, it's like a kiss.
They do, and then it's over very quickly, thankfully.
No tongue.
But I don't have like a romance that I'm pulling for.
Okay, so it's not a matter of like I don't want her with him.
Don't kiss him. I want her
so that you're with that guy instead. It's just a matter of you don't like Kylo Ren.
Can we just stop and go do our thing that we're supposed to be doing? Like, strong independent characters, man. Strong independent.
There was a part of me that wanted them to, and I knew they wouldn't do it because it'd be too hokey. Kind of like how Jon Snow and Daenerys should have like ruled together in the end. There was a part of me that was like, they could do this. Like, you know, like they both have like I didn't catch like a romance with them, maybe a little, but like for the most part, they felt more like family who had the same ideals, and they had the same mentors growing up, and that they had, you know, and they were going to do a new type, I could say a new order, but that sounds really fucked up. That's a whole, nope, we learned nothing and kill everybody. No, but like to do like a new democracy and peace for everybody, blah, blah, blah. But that's just a little too hokey, and we don't need that. And it also opens the door for sequels of like, they're still out there, bringing back, no, we don't want it. No. How do you feel about, we'll talk about Kylo Ren first. he gets pushed into a ditch by Palpatine, much like Han Solo was, much like he himself was. However, this time, Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, crawls up, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm back." And he
Well, I mean, he's like limping,
Well,
but you don't know.
but
Maybe he used the Force to like stop himself.
maybe. There was a part of me that was like, does he still have the Force now that he threw away like the lightsaber? Because I always imagine that his Force is driven from the dark side.
Right.
And since he's not, like, where is he pulling it from? I guess he was pulling it from the Jedi side, or the
Right.
light side, if you will.
Yeah.
So that was cool. The Knights of Ren were kind of overrated. They kind of beat them up, or hyped them up pretty early on in like Force Awakens. They're like the Knights of Ren, and you're expecting these cool mercenary badass motherfuckers, and instead you just get like 7 guys who are posing for like a music video. They're standing on a rock like they're Creed, like with arms wide open, like they're just kind of chilling. And then Kylo Ren ends up being the one who has to fight them all in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, okay, so Kylo Ren crawls out of the hole that Palpatine throws him in. For some reason, Rey is on the floor dying.
For some reason.
You know what? We're going to take a step back. Before that, we're going to Tarantino it, take a step back. Ben Solo decides that he's going to be a good guy, and both of our main characters, Kylo Ren and Rey, are going to go find Palpatine. Rey is going there because she wants to kill Palpatine, which we find out is her grandfather, who killed her parents. I was fine with that. I was like, because the obvious choices were going to be,
She's a Skywalker.
She's a Skywalker, or she's a Solo, or she's Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter.
Oh, that would have been...
Which I thought they were going to do, but I'm like, you know what? Palpatine's a fun twist. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes it more along the lines of like, you know what? You do have a choice. It's not about legacy. You can pick your own destiny, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. Fine. I like it. So she's going there to kill her grandfather because he killed her parents, which I don't fully understand, but okay. And then Ben is going there to tie up loose ends? Help Rey? I don't know. Why is he on his way? I guess to help Rey.
I think he's going to help Rey because she took his ship, so he
Yeah.
knew where she was going.
Bitch.
So
Right. That was a little wonky too. Did she like use her curing abilities to fix like the Green Lantern thingy to find where Palpatine was? I don't know how she found Palpatine, but I guess it's fine. Maybe it was like,
oh no, I was gonna say, wasn't it? It was a different one. It was the one that was in his ship.
okay. I just imagine that she got on his ship and said, you know, GPS, last location, go.
Location.
Right? Okay, and then he's going there to help her out. He fights the Knights of Ren. He wins. She's put in a dilemma because she can't really kill Palpatine, because if she does, Palpatine will put his essence into Rey, and that will make her the Empress of the Sith. And there's all these choir members surrounding the entire place. You can't really see them. They're like in shadows. They're bad CGI mess. I don't know how they got there and how they fit into everything, but whatever. They're just watching all this go down. Kylo Ren shows up, and then they both have their lightsabers, and you're like, this will be cool. And all of a sudden, Palpatine's like, nah. And he just like, kind of knocks him down, and he pulls the life formness, the essence of them out of both of them, giving him enough. This is where it's probably contrived, or the critics are like, this is bullshit. He pulls the essence out of both of them, shoots it into the sky, blows all the ships out of the sky, or at least some of them, good guys, bad guys. He's just like, the lightning fingers are in the sky. He's blowing up them ships. And then what happens? Like, I think Kylo makes a beeline to get up and fight him, and he's like, fuck off. Throws him in a hole.
Right.
Rey is laying there looking up, having a single, Native American tear go down her eye, going like, my friends are dying, but I'm going to lay here and watch. All right. She stands up, gets the lightsaber. Go ahead, what up?
I was gonna say, she does like a throwback to earlier in the movie when she says for them to be with her, and she starts to hear the voices of
Yes.
everybody.
And finally, like, we get like voiceovers from like every single Jedi from like, I think that is where the prequels are a little bit. I definitely heard Yoda. I definitely heard Liam Neeson. I'm sure Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm sure they're all in there. I'm sure they just grab little sound bites,
Yeah.
or just, hey, take some Disney money, come on in for a day in the studio. And she gets up and what does she do? Oh, she takes like
both lightsabers.
she takes out two lightsabers.
Like...
One is Luke's, one's Leia's. Did you hear Morgan Freeman? You know, Disney's got the money. They could have done it. No Morgan Freeman. Hi Ray, this is God. And yeah, she makes like an X with the lightsabers, and he starts using like the lightning fingers again. He pushes that shit right back. Pushes that shit right back into him. It melts his face off, kind of like what you see in one of those prequel movies, like he just get all melty and whatnot when Samuel Jackson tries it too. And that kills him, right? Yeah, that kills him, yeah. But also kind of weakens or kills Rey. I guess it kills her because she's dead with her eyes open.
Right.
Ben Kenobi crawls out of his little hole. He crawls over. It almost feels like we're going into like a Romeo and Juliet setup. It's a little bit like, what is this? I don't know they didn't go there, luckily.
Yeah, I was so scared. I was like, do not kiss her back to life, I swear to God.
Right, and then like maybe like instead of like he takes the dagger and stabs himself, like, you're right, they had a dagger.
I didn't even think of that.
And now, and this is again where I imagine the critics go a little sideways, Kylo Ren now has the ability to heal, because he was healed by her earlier in the movie. Let's just say,
I like how they showed actual light side forces, like healing.
Like healing. Yeah. You know what? Maybe that's a good point. Maybe only the light side can heal. Because there is a scene, like you see in all the posters, where they're having like the fight, you know, with the waves crashing behind him, and she just like stabs him right in the middle, center frame, and he goes down. And I'm like, you know what? This would be a good scene for him to die, because there is no redemption, in my thought. Like, once you can't have him go back with the other people after he killed Han Solo. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, hey, well, he said he was sorry. I know you guys like Han Solo, but he's sorry. He learned his lesson.
Out of here.
So I knew there was redemption, but there was definitely no, like, him coming back home. I didn't see that at all. And I'm glad they didn't do that. So, basically, Rey is dead, and I thought it was a bold choice for them to go with the eyes open death. Like, the whole time she's like... And he's trying to, like, breathe her back to life using the light side of the Force, I guess, to bring her back. It works. They kiss. No tongue. It's very brief, but they lock lips for like a good... They good.
No tongue. It was very tasteful.
Well, it's very tasteful. Very Disney.
It's okay. Your kids can watch it.
You know, they hold it for like a good, like, 1, 2, 3, and we're done. And then he kind of falls back, and he dies, and he kind of space ghost. He's out. He, like, his cloak is there. It just drops, and he evaporates, much like everybody else. We never see him again. He's not like at like the post credits with like Luke or anybody like that. Like, you know, hey, we're a space ghost too. I'm glad they didn't do that. I hate that. I hate when when everybody wins and like somebody looks in the corner and they see like all the space ghosts like, bye now, like Patches O'Houlihan, like, you know, you can do it. Bye now, you know. He dies. He goes away. And then the last thing we get is that Rey goes back to see all of her friends. The three of them have like a giant hug. Let's see. Unknown Flixie says, I would like if Ghost Yoda was there if he isn't. The only thing we get from Ghost Yoda is that he says something to Rey when she's hearing all the voices. And she gets off her ass and she fights Palpatine. But we don't see any Yoda. We do get some Mark Hamill. Yeah, but we don't need more Yoda. We got baby Yoda galore in The Mandalorian. We got regular Yoda who does his bit in The Last Jedi talking to Luke. We don't need any more. We need Mark Hamill to have his moment. We need Leia and Han Solo. I mean, you got all three of the main trilogy back in this movie. I'm fine with not having... They'll shoehorn Yoda into stuff forever. And then from there, basically, she goes back to the home planet, I think, of Luke Skywalker, right?
No, she goes back to her own home planet, I thought.
Is it?
Yeah, that's why she gets on the thing and she slides down, because that was her home planet.
But there was 2 suns. And there's 2 suns on Luke's planet.
I don't know. I figured it was her home planet.
It could be. But we never see her
That
little
would
home,
make
do we?
sense. I don't know.
Comment down below.
Do we see her home?
I'm going to go with my opinion. I think that...
Luke's first house.
Thank you. Okay, that's
Thanks,
what I
Sally.
thought. Because, she buries the...
We've been here for a while.
No, I was pretty sure, because there was 2 moons. Well, you know what? You don't need to have so many dirt desert planets in Star Wars, all right? You just have one. It's fine. Goes back. She buries both lightsabers, which is fine. We'll keep it there for the next sequel trilogy that we eventually end up doing. And she's got like a yellow lightsaber now, which is interesting because what is she going to use that for? I don't know. Maybe just chopping firewood.
Maybe.
I don't know. I've never seen a yellow pea stream of a lightsaber, but now we have. They've ran out of colors. Samuel L. Jackson called dibs on the purple one. We already have like blue and green and obviously red.
Right.
And they're like, how about yellow? It's not the prettiest looking one, but it's fine. It's fine. And then, I don't know, some random person walks up and is like, what's your name? She's like, I'm Ray. And she's like, what's your last name? Fuck you, that's my last name.
That's not what she said.
That should have been, yeah, but not for nothing. And I get it, it's for the movie. Like, who are you? New annoying neighbor, I guess. And she looks over and she sees Luke and Leia, and they're standing there like mommy and daddy, even though they're sisters, but they kissed that one time, whatever. And she's like, my last name is Skywalker. And it's like, Rise of Skywalker, they finally connected it. Now it makes sense.
Yellow was Jedi Temple Guards.
Okay, there we go. See, this is why I don't like to do too many videos on Star Wars, because I know there's people who have read all the books and comics and seen all of the TV shows and have analyzed all of it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be called out for not knowing all this. Is the little kid from The Last Jedi in this? No. He's referring to, in The Last Jedi, there's a scene where Rose and Finn go to that Vegas planet and they free all like the animals, and I think they free some kids too. And there's that scene where like he casually grabs a broomstick and it comes over, and they show that again. He has like a little ring. Is that what you're talking about? He has like a little ring that has like the rebellion symbol on it. We never see that again, but then again, that was Last Jedi. That was Rian Johnson. If Rian Johnson does get his way and has a Star Wars trilogy, maybe he'll tap into it then, maybe. I don't know. You're right. It's like one of those Easter eggs where it's like, The Last Jedi is a big pile of a mess. I don't even know what's going on with that movie. Maybe I'll watch it again and dig deeper into it and see what Rian Johnson has to say. Probably not. But as I say it, I'm like, probably not.
Oh my God.
But yeah, you guys got any questions? I know there's like 2 people in here right now. You guys are pretty cool. What do you got? I'm trying to think like what else. Do you have any thoughts? I've been spitballing for a while now. People defend The Last Jedi. Yes, they do, and that's their right.
That's their right. And that's all I have to say about that.
I was more, yeah, I don't... The Last Jedi is fine. The problem is that they decided to do a lot of these things in the second movie, which made the third movie have to play catch up and do different things. And The Last Jedi is the reason why we don't have a coherent trilogy, if that makes sense. It's almost like you should have let JJ or Rian Johnson do their own trilogy, because this just feels like a game of hot potato. And that's, yeah. So I enjoy The Last Jedi. I like the throne room scene. I don't like the Vegas, My Little Pony,
so
riding the horses. Benicio del Toro is doing this like funny accent. The fight with Phasma with Finn is really lame. I don't really buy BB-8. I mean, I know it's a dumb thing, but like BB-8 rolls into like a machine gun and takes everybody out, and I'm like, all right. It feels like there's a lot of filler in The Last Jedi. Allie says, what did you think of the cut and pasta? Cut and
paste.
Leah scene. Would you have liked if Mace Windu? How do I apologize. Could you hit that again because it disappeared?
Her name is Is this that?
Maybe
what
that is it.
button?
We're on a phone. We don't have a computer right now. Oh no.
No. Hit
Oh
cancel.
no.
I thought that might do it.
Oh no. Copy paste that again so we can read it because it disappeared too quickly. I saw something about Mace Windu maybe. My bad, guys.
She asked about what they did with Princess Leia, but
Oh, like the
I feel like
deleted
they did the
scenes?
best that they could,
Yeah.
considering the actress is obviously no longer with us.
I'm
So,
sure they pulled from both
There's not
other
really,
movies.
I mean, I don't know.
She doesn't say a lot. Like, it's not like they had great scenes to...
I think they really wanted to use her, so they did the best that they could, considering the resources that they had.
Right.
You know, they didn't want to just go, well, she's gone, so we gotta cut her out of the movie. I think that they really tried to do her justice and keep her in the movie as much as they could, despite their setback.
You know, as far as the original characters that came back in this one, okay.
Would you have liked if Mace Windu or General Grievous were the surprise villain instead of Palpatine?
I would have... Oops. I don't know. I think you have to raise the stakes because I feel like there's nothing bigger than Palpatine. As far as like, because you know, Palpatine tops Darth Vader. You have to keep it simple for us simple folks who don't follow like the lore of it. I think people realize like, okay, we have to put this in context of that people will follow along. They're not going to be. Nobody wants to go back to the prequels. I don't think. I think that'd be a bold move to bring back a villain from the prequels to be the big villain in the end of essentially a 9-movie stint. No, I mean, I guess Palpatine's fine. The only thing that could have been, but you can't do that either. Like if they brought back Darth Vader, but then you're basically undoing his redemption by bringing him back as a bad guy. So you kind of have to go back to the well of Palpatine.
I mean, maybe you could have Mace Windu completely against the Jedi and crumble it or something. Who's Mace Windu?
Mace Windu is Samuel Jackson, right? Green, purple lightsaber. I think that is Mace Windu. We apologize because we're not giant fans of the prequels. Yes, I don't know. You don't know? Oh wait, you weren't asking the question. I think Mace Windu is. I could be wrong. Yes, thank you. Okay, so Mace Windu. Yes, but that's gonna have to include bringing back Samuel Jackson, which I'm always for. I mean, that'd be pretty fucking badass. If like imagine like instead of Palpatine, you just got like the blackest motherfucker in the universe, right? Because I mean, let's face it, that's what Darth Vader was.
Right.
Blackest motherfucker in the universe. He's like the opposite of Nick Fury. He's here to like wreak havoc. I just don't think that. I don't see them bringing back Samuel Jackson. I think they'd have to explain. Well, I guess not. I was going to say explain throwing him down a hole, but everyone gets thrown down a hole in these movies and comes back. So, you know, I mean, Han Solo can crawl up for us right now. I mean, if everybody else comes back. I would like to see that. Like, if they put that in, like, a spin-off, like, if they put that in Obi-Wan, which is the show coming to Disney, or if they put in, like, The Mandalorian, well, that doesn't really work out. But if they put it, like, in a Disney Plus show, I would love to see, Mace Windu come back in some way because I'm a giant fan of not so much that character but Samuel Jackson, and they're kind of one and the same. Like you have that power that is Samuel Jackson. He's kind of one of the best parts in the prequel for me. So yeah, I would definitely much like that. The Emperor was kind of like bleh. I read scripts, so I might make a script of that idea. Do it, send it my way. I'd take a look at it. Yeah. It's totally fine. Anything that gets us away from the Skywalker thread, which is now done and laid to rest, I'm totally down for. So, yeah. All right. So, we're gonna wrap this up a little bit because we're hitting the 48-minute mile marker on 49 minutes. We're almost hitting an hour. We'll do the full hour. Why not? I'm just trying to think of like, let's see here. Any loose ends I'm not going over. Did you guys have any questions? Be sure, I know there's 2 of you guys in there, maybe more. Right down below. Let me think. Is there anything we didn't talk about? Too many extra characters. You know, there's that one character that I guess is made as like a girlfriend idea
Oh, it's a Poe?
for Finn and Poe. Yeah,
Oh,
in the final
the
hour,
other
like
one.
Foe
Foe and
Foe,
Pin. That
Finn
would have been
and
their
Poe.
love name if they had geared them up. Foe and Pin.
Right, and I like the whole joke, ongoing joke of was that we find out that Poe was like a spice runner,
Yeah.
like
I
he
was
delivered
like,
spices and
moving
whatnot.
along.
And I'm like, that's fine. And like his girlfriend, let's say, the fight on the ship during the rain. Your thoughts? I liked it. I thought it was fun. I mean, it was. I know some people.
Ren and
Yeah, and Ray.
Ray.
Ren and Ray.
Ren and
Ray. Hey.
Sorry.
I liked the only thing I didn't understand is like how they got up there so quickly because they were fighting down below, and then Kylo jumps down and she follows him, but I guess down means up because then they end up on top. There's a cutscene, so you don't really notice it. They flash to Poe and Finn and all that, and when we come back, they're on top of the ship fighting. So, but it was fine. I mean, some people complain there's too many close-ups and they don't really do like a lot of like choreography with the fighting and all that. You know what? I'm one of the few people that's like, you know what? As long as it doesn't look as lame as the original trilogy, like when Darth Vader and Obi-Wan are kind of like tapping sticks, it doesn't have to be as extreme as Obi-Wan and Anakin doing like flip, 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 and then hardcore choreography. Like, it could be a little grittier, a little bit more messy. I'm fine with that. Like, I mean, you're sliding around on a slippery platform. It's fine. But yeah, I liked it. It was good. And considering that wasn't the final act of the movie, I didn't want it to be too long and too choreographed and too worked out. That scene is basically just he kills.
Didn't see the point of them adding another character to the Rebels.
The Hobbit-looking guy. Yeah, those flips made it seem like a dance scene. Exactly.
Who's the Hobbit-looking guy?
The Rebels Hobbit-looking guy. Who's the Hobbit-looking guy? Do you mean like the guy that helped C-3PO translate whatever? Like the little guy? Like the little tiny rat-looking dude? I don't know. The Rebels. We need to know. What do they look like? It is a 2.5-hour movie. Dominic Mahanaga. Oh, okay, the guy from Lost. The guy who's like Charlie, not Penny's boat. You know what's funny is that I thought he was maybe in an earlier movie. I thought he was in an earlier movie, but I guess he wasn't. The other guy from Lost, he was like the pilot. He was also in that show Heroes. He was a cop. I'm not doing a great job of describing who this guy is. But, like, you could tell, like, oh, JJ likes him. He put him in this one. He's in Heroes, and he's also the pilot from the show Lost. Dominic is also, I can't remember his last name, is also in this one. He plays, like, a hobbit in all those Lord of the Rings movies, which I'm not a giant fan of. He's fine, though. Like, he's barely, I mean, he's there, but, it's fine. I mean, you gotta remember, too, we're killing characters off left and right. We killed off Leia. We killed off that purple-haired lady in Return of The Last Jedi. You know, you need people that they can talk to. It can't just be Lando. I thought Lando is probably the most, like, I wanted more out of that. I feel like we hit all the check marks with the original trilogy people. They kind of marketed this movie of like, but this is the one with Lando. And you're like, yeah, okay. And then you get there and he's just like, ha, 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 ha. Come on, Chewie. But it's fine. It's fine. I could take it or leave it. It's cool to see him, but he wasn't like a key component. Or maybe he was. Wasn't he like helping with the dagger or some shit? I don't know.
He helped, he also helped send the signal out to get the rest of the people to help them destroy.
It was a welcome addition considering we didn't have Harrison Ford. We lost Princess Leia. Luke was already, done. So it's cool. But final thoughts. Thank you guys for stopping by. Please feel free to subscribe down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit that ring bell notification. But I'm going to stand by my final thoughts and say that this is an 8.5. Go see it. Go see this movie. It was fucking great. What is that? That is a thumbs up from Allie. Thank you, Allie. You were cool. Cool stream. Awesome. I will see you guys next time. I'll subscribe to you guys too. It'd be cool if, like, we could do this more often. I think, you know what? Would you guys want to see us do a live stream leaving a movie instead of waiting a day or two, where I edit it and drop like a photo or some crap? I kind of like this. I don't know. Would you be down for this too? Less editing for me.
That's kind of cool to get feedback.
I'm seeing it in dine-in theater. That's interesting. So that's okay. Not like a drive-in movie, but like
No,
I guess it's like
dine-in.
a dine-in. So like you can get like a picture of like Blue Moon and stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah. You know, I mean, dine and eat. It's a long movie, so maybe you should eat. Maybe that's a good call. I haven't been to we go to the Regal theaters because like I don't know why. To me personally, I feel like Regal has the most comfortable seats, and I like the way that the theater is like a 45-degree decline, so you don't have to look over anybody's heads. And so for me, Regal beats out any AMC any day of the week. But because with my experience, our experience is at AMC, it could be hit or miss. You can find a really dirty, seats are uncomfortable, like they're like plastic hard, and they're bad. So not all AMCs are created equal. I feel like Regal has been pretty solid so far. But final thoughts. What was your grade?
I liked it. I'm gonna give it an 8.
8?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I liked it that much. Take that, nerds. It's a good movie. So be sure to subscribe, like it, thumbs up it, notification bell. We're gonna do some more videos, guys. We got more videos down below. We saw a whole bunch of movies this season.
Check us out.
We saw Jumanji.
Go see Jumanji.
We saw Mr. Rogers. We saw Dr. Sleep. We saw, what else did we see? We saw Kevin Smith. We met Kevin Smith. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Roadshow in Asbury Park, New Jersey. We saw Kevin Smith. We got photos with both Jay and Silent Bob. It was great. I went to Boston last week. I saw Durant from Durant Cinemas. We did a road trip. And get this, guys, I just talked to Dave. I will be going back to Boston January 7th to go do a Blu-ray hunt with him to find the Joker Steelbook.
Did you love it?
Mailing in-depth.
He's making an in-depth review of Jumanji: The Next Level.
Real? That's interesting. I want to see a third one. There's gonna be a third one. There's gotta be a third one.
I would like the second one.
There was something that we were talking about. I didn't even realize. We were talking about like predictions in the other video about how Jumanji's gonna come back into this universe. This is what I want to see, and they might do it. I want to see the avatars from Jumanji come into our universe. Like I want to see Dr. Bravestone being like, "I'm a video game. What is this?" And like the kids have to be like the teenagers having to be like, okay, you're a video game, but we need you to go find the glowy rock and yell Jumanji and all of that. And then be like, just, fish out of water. I like that. So yeah, check that out down below. I've been John. Thank you guys. This has been Cassie. You just got burned. And we will see you next time. Boop, boop. It'd be helpful if I stop the video. Hold on. How does it stop?
Orientation is left.
Bye. Bye.